Hey everybody, it's Mary M.J. Harper, host of Sistah to Sistah Coffee and Conversations, where we talk about life, love, healing, growth, relationships, and everything in between. Let me introduce you to the voices behind the conversation. Delashawn Bordeaux, better known as D. Nicole. Frida Ballard, aka Free Free. Our fact finder and research queen, Mimi Lee. And guaranteed to always keep it real, Michelle Colbert. Together, we're bringing you real, unfiltered conversations that speak to the heart of a woman's journey. This is a space where your voice matters, your experiences are seen, and your story is valued. You can catch us every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network. And if you miss us there, don't worry. You can always find us on YouTube, Spotify, and StreamYard. So go ahead, grab your favorite cup, take a seat, and come join the conversation with your sisters. Sistah to Sistah, Coffee and Conversations. Welcome. I am Mary M.J. Harper, host of Sistah to Sistah Coffee and Conversations.
And I am the Michelle Colbert, and I am truly glad to be here with you.
I am so glad to have you join me in the studio, my sister friend, just like we say at work every morning. Hey, girl. We are so excited to be here in Fishbowl Radio Network doing our debut show, our launch episode for Sistah to Sistah Coffee and Conversations. It's been a journey just trying to get to this point. And I am so excited to be
really
in the
excited
house today.
too. I'm excited to build with women and to just empower women, to give them knowledge of things that we've gone through, things that we've researched, things that we've done. It's just an exciting time, and now more than ever is great to have women to come together to build each other up and to just love on one another.
Yeah, because we're living in a society and a day and time where we need to bring that back, and we need to be a great support to each other. When I thought about putting this show together, I wanted to be able to connect with other women who are where I am, who are going through the things that I've been through, are going through the things that, I'm currently dealing with. Finding support in a community, in a sisterhood, is what we wanted to do. And so I thought it would be a pretty neat idea to get together some of my sister friends who I draw strength from, knowledge, courage, wisdom, and all the things, and bring us together so we can share our real life issues, our journeys, and everything that we're facing today. Everything from motherhood to dating, relationships, our faith, our finances. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to be candid. I have the four beautiful women who are co-hosting Sistah to Sistah Coffee and Conversations with me, and that includes yourself, Delashawn Bordeaux, Mimi Lee, and Frida Ballard. Each week I'll get an opportunity to sit down and chop it up with you ladies individually, and sometimes we'll get together in groups, and we're just going to go at it and be candid. One thing I love about you is that we're in the same age bracket, and we're dealing with a lot of the same things in this season of our life. And so we just kind of stumbled up upon our first topic, menopause conversations. Just sitting in the office and talking about the hot flashes and everything that we're dealing with. So I said, come on, let's do it. Let's just come on and tell people where we at. And y'all, the struggle is real. We didn't just wake up one day and say, hey, menopause, how you doing? My name Mary, what we finna do? Nah.
No.
It was not like that. I think my menopause symptoms, I went into perimenopause when I had a partial hysterectomy
Mm-hmm.
a few years back. And when I had the partial hysterectomy, I had a great doctor. She had great bedside manner. She walked me through everything that was going to happen up until that partial hysterectomy. And then she closed her office, and nobody told me that I was getting ready to go into menopause early,
Mm-hmm.
as a part of having that partial hysterectomy. And so I started experiencing these different symptoms that I never knew and nobody told me was associated with menopause. And I'm just thinking life is life and life is wearing the hell out of me, you know.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of going through menopause, life was lifing,
Right.
going through a tumultuous marriage at that time, raising a teenage daughter, and being a wife, being a mother, operating a business. I could feel, the effects of going through menopause.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we want to talk about, because some women don't recognize that they're in menopause. And so some of the things that we were talking about, you were talking about how you were
Mm-hmm.
at work.
I know I didn't recognize that I was in menopause at the time. I would collaborate with my mom about things that I was going through, and I wasn't having like full effects or full things that was going on. It was just random things that was happening. And so I went to work, and it was like I was fighting for my life. It was like something on the inside was happening, but nobody on the outside could see it. And I
Mm-hmm.
was struggling, and I was struggling to stay awake, and I was fighting to just be present.
Yeah.
And I would get up to go do something in another room, and I'd stand there trying to remember what I did, what I was going in there
Mm-hmm.
for. Like, what did I walk in this room for? Um, so I began to just think, well, that's just the way life is changing. My body is changing, and just different things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pay attention to it. And a nurse was saying to me, Michelle, I don't see how you getting past all of this that I'm going through, and we're the exact same age. And I was like, well, I probably am not getting past it. I'm just not dealing with it.
And just not talking
And I'm
about
not
it.
talking about it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
telling anyone, because who wants to talk about the hot flashes, the
Mm-hmm.
the sleepless nights, the anger that sometimes will just come, and then the emotional part that will just happen
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. Just want to cry, just crying
Mm-hmm.
driving down the road, and like, what is wrong with me? And I'm thinking, am I depressed for something? And I don't have any reason to be depressed,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
life is good
Yeah.
considering where I've been in life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's when you and I, we started talking more and more about it at work, and I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, I'm just itching like crazy.
I know you were talking about the being at work, and just like, I think we were saying like 3 o'clock every day. My head started nodding. Girl, one day I thought I was gonna tear that desk up with my forehead. I was I just had no energy whatsoever. And I was just praying to God for that next hour and a half, 2 hours to pass, so I could get off of work and I could go home. I need to get me some sleep so I can be refreshed in the morning. And then I get home and get ready to go to bed. And then I'm wide awake. I'm
Yeah.
wide awake and I cannot sleep.
Yes.
And I'm up all night, sitting here twiddling my thumbs and looking through the channel like, why can't I sleep? Now I was at work and I was about to pass out. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm wide awake for no reason. What is going on? And the
But it really is for a reason. We just hadn't found the remedy to help us through the reason that we're awake.
mm-hmm.
Our hormones, our body is going through so many things, and you know, if you haven't started going through it, keep living.
Yeah, it's
um,
coming.
it's coming, and not
Mm-hmm.
every woman goes through the full-blown symptoms of menopause, but quite a few women do, and quite a few women like myself try to go through it without anything. I was fighting to just not take anything, no medication, no teas, no anything. I was just trying to fight it, and I'm a very, very active person. And one day I woke up and I could not move.
Yeah.
This has been within the last few weeks. And I immediately started thinking, with the place that we work, you're always on guard with making sure you take care of yourself and you get your labs drawn. And I'm like, I told my doctor, I was like, you got to do a full panel because, again, I'm not blaming it on menopause just quite yet, because I have no energy. I'm up and down all night long. I work out. I don't eat any fried foods. I just I am strict to everything that I'm doing, and I cannot drop the weight.
Yeah.
It's coming in areas that I cannot do anything about, and I was working out 6 days a week, not on the, not with weights, but I was walking, I was tons of things, very active, and the scale was staying the same.
Yeah.
Did a full panel, everything was perfect except my hormones. And they were totally out of whack, and that explains a lot of what I was going through. The sleepless nights and the weight gain, the itching, the crying, it explained it, and I finally was able to put a name with what I was going through.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a name, so I'm thinking the worst of the worst. It's bad, but
Yeah.
it could be worse.
Yeah.
But it's bad, and so now I'm able to start doing things to try and go through it because there's no time limit for it to go away.
And the difference is that, we saw our moms, we saw our aunts go through some changes and some challenges in their behaviors and their moods and their attitudes and their disciplining and me and my sisters were even sitting up talking about the other day about how my mother would break out and do the Florida Evans anytime we didn't want to clean up the house, damn. And we'd be like, Mom, it's so dramatic. But we didn't know. I don't even know if she knew, that's what she was dealing with. And I know that's what it is now, being in that age and having a few of those moments myself, But different things that she would do, that we found quirky or, we blew off, and, her breaking out crying. Oh, Mama's so dramatic. She just want us to clean up the kitchen. Mama be sitting in the kitchen just crying. I don't know why these kids won't clean out the kitchen. And we didn't know that's what it was. But looking back at it now, being in that similar place, I was like, oh my God. And I remember she used to say all the time, you'll understand it better by and by.
That's real talk.
For real.
That's real.
But it's like you said, you didn't have a name for it, right? And so the benefit of us living in the world of social media is that everyday ordinary women are bringing attention and becoming outspoken about this phase of life. I look at Melanie Sanders, that comes on social media, TikTok videos with the We Do Not Care Club, and how she's just started a whole movement that evolved out of her having a breakdown in her car because she was like, what is happening to me?
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real.
So more people are, more women are stepping up like, me too. I'm here with you. I understand that this is what it is. And it's like we said, we didn't know what it was, or we heard about menopause, but we didn't know about all the things that were associated with it. So the first thing I wanted to look at was, what exactly is it that we're dealing with? So I looked it up, and it's what we're dealing with is called perimenopause. That's the phase before menopause, when your hormones, especially estrogen and progesterone, start fluctuating up and down all over the place. And that right there, that's why nothing makes sense. Because we're all over the place. We're floating. We're up 1 minute. We're down 1 minute.
Brain fog.
And then that's what you were saying the other day. You were talking about how your ears were itching. so bad. And I was like, me too. My ears. I don't know what it is. Why our ears itch. My ears are itching. I go from having night sweats. One minute I'm covered up in like four or five blankets on the bed. I got a heated blanket plugged up. I'm snug as a bug in a rug when I go to bed. And then as soon as I get off into a deep sleep, I got a whole attitude and I'm pulling off all these blankets because, I done broke out in a sweat. And so, we deal with that. We deal with the emotional ups and downs. And we can be something else on our village, when we're dealing with perimenopause and menopause. Because we deal with a lot of emotional issues. We deal with a lot of mental health situations, that we have to kind of work our way through. And so we have people that love us, that are in our lives. And we just, we just, at them. And so I think we need to have the conversations sometimes with our significant others, with our kids, with our village. We need to be a little bit more transparent now that we have a name for it. And we're learning that some of these things that made us think we were crazy, we're not crazy.
Right.
We're not crazy. This is a real thing.
And we're not this evil person that this can portray us to be. Because if you do not take control of it and you do not treat yourself and go to your OBGYN or your primary care doctor to see what natural things you can take or what hormonal things you can take, because you can be so nice and the next second you could be a bear.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can't control, but you can control because you have to seek help in that aspect. And I would catch myself being fine and then something would irritate me and I'm like, this is not me. I don't want to act like I'm acting funny towards people because that's how I was feeling. And you didn't know that I didn't sleep last night, and it is not the other person's fault that I didn't sleep. So I knew that I had to find something that was going to work for me so that I could be pleasant, so that I could be back to normal. I wanted to be back to normal. I was desperate to get this under control. I could not take it. I didn't know myself. I didn't like what was happening. To not be able to get up and, I was at the point where I was like running 2 miles a day. I couldn't even walk up the stairs to go inside without giving out. It's real. It is. If this is the most real and most talked about thing amongst women now, because women are starting to try and take better care of themselves, and we're talking more frequently about it when it really wasn't talked about when we were younger, because we didn't have to worry about it.
Right.
And we saw our parents, and my mom was pretty open about it. She went through it drastically, and honestly she still is going through it. And she said to me not long ago, I was hoping you wouldn't have to go through this. And I was like, I was too, but I understand how she was feeling more now than ever. And I would just be like, hey, what's wrong with her? Just sweating and
just doing all
mad
that.
and just breaking out sweating. And now that's me.
I used to have to, and I guess I'm in a phase now where it's stopped for a while, but I would just have to have a towel in the bed with me when I would go to sleep at night, because honey, these breasts of mine, girl, by 2-3 o'clock in the morning, you be thinking you in the River Jordan. I be having to get me a towel and wipe my chest and wipe my hair, have a whole attitude. It got so bad. You ever had one of those where you wake up and you get out the bed and you come back to the bed and you like, did I spill some water? Why is my bed wet? I would actually just be soaking wet right down to my sheets. My sheets were soaking wet. And I'm like, what in the world?
I haven't had that.
Oh my God.
Pray I never have that.
I pray you never have
I just
that.
get the heat, the inward heat that comes out.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, and then in the next second, I'm freezing.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because it's like, I was just sitting up like, my symptoms were so bad at one point. I just did what we often do in the black community. I self-diagnosed, or I just went to Google, and I didn't go to the doctor. And by the time I got through Googling stuff and symptoms, I'm about to die. Lord, Lord, what am I going through? Is it cancer? Where is it at? I just did not know what was going on with me. And see, the thing is, all women, yes, all women, go through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. All races, all nationalities, women, we go through it. But the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't realize is that research and studies show that the effects, the symptoms of menopause tend to be worse for black women. We tend to start the transition earlier than other groups. We experience more intense symptoms, especially the hot flashes or the sleep issues and the mood changes. Those are the things that we deal with, most intensely. And those symptoms can last longer. Sometimes not 7 to 10 months, 7 to 10 years.
Or longer. Because my mother is still going through it.
Yeah. So it's like, when do it stop? I was thinking the other day, I said, well, you become a woman, you get your cycle, and, from preteen on up to your mid 40s, 50s, you're dealing with, your reproductive system and having to deal with cramps and deal with the cycle and all the things that come with that, and you sit up and you think to yourself, I can't wait till I get older and I don't have to have a period anymore. I don't have to have a cycle anymore. That was my frame of thinking as a young woman. I can't wait. I can't wait till I don't have to be bothered with this no more. But there he didn't tell me what the alternative. Somewhere along the way, they skipped a conversation. They skipped. In school they teach you about the reproductive system. They teach you about the birds and the bees, and now you're able to have kids. But then nobody tell us what was gonna happen. When the honey pot started, drying up, that was a whole nother set of issues.
It was. And being younger, you really don't know what to ask.
Yeah.
You don't know to question anything like that. Because menopause was like downplayed all my life.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, because I didn't really feel like I was going to get old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I would be young forever, and that's not how life works.
Yeah.
And I talk about it, and I talk about it to my kids, my girls, like, this is what's going on with me. Like, this is why you see me laying down when I get home from work, when you typically see me out hiking. And but I'm taking control. I can't afford to not take control. So oftentimes women, they don't want to be on a medication, and I'm guilty of that. I don't take anything on a regular basis. I don't want to take anything, but when this hit me, I had to humble myself, and I had to say to my doctor, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I have to take control of my life, because menopause is taking control of me.
Yeah.
And it's not a good feeling. And I have to be a better version of myself every day.
Yeah.
But it will make you feel like you are lifeless.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad about having to take a medication. There's all kind of things It may not make your symptoms completely go away, but it controls it.
Yeah.
Like mine are controlled now. Within the last 48 hours, I have noticed a complete change.
Yeah.
And I paid attention today because I was adamant about this working, because I'm not going to take something that is not going to work. If it ain't going to work, I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to fight it out. And I have noticed that I slept all night last night for the first time in probably a year that I've slept completely all night long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thankful. I woke up thankful. I woke up grateful.
Yeah.
I woke up in a better mood.
Yes.
Now, everything hasn't changed that I want, immediately, but I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to take something.
Yeah.
If you're, and to take it on time, and to take it, regularly, is really, really important. 'Cause, honey,
and
that sleep
that
is good.
is the truth. And you value things once you haven't had them for a while.
Yes,
because I already know.
Because I'll be up at 2 and 3 and 4 sending people reels off of TikTok.
Yeah.
I know people.
Why is she up sending this stuff at her? That's me. Now I'm not. No, I won't send anybody email.
I do.
But now my sister Lisa. It will be sleep. It'll be 4:30 in the morning. She'll be sending reels talking about, "Hey y'all, this cute." We be like, "What are you doing up at this time of morning?" But one thing about perimenopause and menopause, things like that, especially like we said in the Black community, we tend to downplay it. We're taught that we just have to survive. So often you we have fun, y'all. We have fun. We have fun, the quirky moments. But we're taught we have to survive. We just have to keep going. We taught in the Black community we gotta be strong. We gotta push through. We just gotta push through it. We gotta pray about it. You be sitting up top crying every day. And they just pray about it, baby. No.
You can't pray about that.
You need to go see a doctor.
Your OBGYN or your primary
care doctor. And I'll even go further. You need to get a therapist. Like, for real. Because it's life changing. You're laughing. But look, if you are going through any of the pauses, you need a therapist. You need a good therapist, because one day you'll be sitting up talking about, I just want to take a pencil and stab him in the throat. And then the next day you'll be sitting up talking about, he's my all in all, my everything. If I'll be sitting up thinking, what is wrong with her? Get you a therapist. Like, seriously, get you a therapist. I'm finding that I need a therapist right now. And I'm going to say, because, the littlest thing, have me ready. I'm ready for you.
Yeah. We laughing, but it's...
like, for real.
We for real.
I've been ready to throw them... What does it say? I've been ready to throw them hands a few times. And I know I ain't got no business trying to throw no hands at nobody, because I got arthritis in my hand.
Oh, Lord.
I ain't got no business trying to fight nobody. I got arthritis in my... Look, you talking about the night sweats and the sleepiness and things like that. And I went through that part after, those were like some of the things I dealt with in the beginning after I had my hysterectomy. So I'm at a little bit different stage than you right now. So my chief complaints or symptoms now is the joint stiffness, the joint pain. I have, the trigger finger in my hand, and now, I showed you the other day, and you was like, what the hell? When I closed my fingers, and it did like that. I was like, it just gets stuck, just like this. He was like, what the? My joints just get stuck. I'll sit down for a little while. By the time I leave here, y'all probably gonna have to carry me out of here, because my hips get to hurt. I hate the rain. Me and the rain do not get along these days. I'm telling you, we gotta keep it real. Y'all, the struggle is real, for real. And I just keep thinking to myself, when is it gonna be over? And I don't think it's gonna ever be over.
Well, my doctors told me that there's a chance that you will deal with it for the rest of your life. It just because sometimes what happens with me is it'll come hard for so many months and then it'll drag off. Then it'll go away for a while. Then it'll just one day I'll wake up and like, oh no, why is my head hurting so bad? Why am I feeling overwhelmed and I'm not overwhelmed? Why am I feeling anxious? Then I know this is what it is. So I'm going to just take something ongoing and not when symptoms come. I want a low dose of a natural something.
Yeah.
Or estrogen is really what I'm going to take. A very low dose to get my hormones and everything back to where it needs to be. I can honestly say today is one of the first days that I have felt about 75%. I have to fight through it. I have to fake it till I make it. I have to really, really coach myself. Like, don't say nothing mean. Don't say what you thinking. Be quiet. Just I have to coach myself because
How many times do you sit at your desk and you start typing an email and then you be like,
Yep.
No,
That
'cause I
ain't
might
right.
get fired with that one.
Yeah.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I find myself doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Second guessing myself, trying to make sure that I walk that line and I keep myself balanced and I keep myself level headed. And one thing I like when we were talking the other day and you were coming back from your doctor's appointment, I like how you were saying your doctor's bedside manner was that she really just took the time to listen to you and asked you. I love that she asked you, what do you want to do?
Yes. I admire that. She asked me what I wanted to do, how I wanted to try it. She gave me some options, and she knew previously some of the things that concern me. That the reason I don't like to take meds. So she just reassured me that she would monitor me for 30 days and we'd come back and revisit. So she makes me comfortable in taking what I'm taking because I don't do medication. Because sometimes you take something to make you feel better and it does the opposite.
Yeah.
It gives you symptoms that you didn't ask for. But I'm just really grateful that, we were able to bring this topic to light because so many women are suffering in silence. And we have to put a name on what we're going through. We have to not be ashamed to talk about it and to take something to help so that the other people that are dealing with us can tolerate us. We have to make sure that we're cordial to other people because you can go from 0 to 100 and you've said these words to people and now you got to tuck your tail and go and apologize when it's just something that you're having a hard time controlling.
Yeah.
So I just challenge anyone that's kind of going through it to really, really, really take the time to have a conversation. And if you don't have a doctor or an OBGYN,
get you one.
Get you one.
Yeah, get you one. Talk to your friends. Now, I know for me, when I went through my hysterectomy and everything that led up to it, well, I'll say before that, when I sought out my doctor, I had been going from doctor to doctor, doctor to doctor because I was having a lot of issues with my period. I was having a lot of random bleeding, a lot of embarrassing moments. And I was going from doctor to doctor trying to find someone to listen to me. And I remember when I finally made the decision to change doctors, I had gone to a OBGYN that my PCP referred me to. And I went to her, and I remember she was a German lady, German OBGYN. And I remember going in there and being put on the table and in the stirrups, and her bedside manner and the way that she handled me, I felt like I had been violated. When I got up from the table, like for real, like her name should have been Hans or somebody. I felt like I had a night at the end with Hans that I didn't ask, that I didn't ask for. And I remember waiting for the results, for 2 weeks, and they never called. I was sitting there like, Bubba had left me in 2 weeks. Yes, never heard anything, and so I said, for me, and this may not be the case for everyone, but this was just my frame of thinking that worked for me. I made the decision at that point that my doctors need to look like me. My doctors need to not only be able to diagnose me, but I need doctors who can actually identify with where I am and have an empathetic ear to me. So at that point, I made the decision that going forward, for me, my healthcare providers had to be female and they had to look like me. And I think for me, the main reason was because, you know, there is so much research when it comes to women's health and the reproductive system that indicates that black women are disenfranchised when it comes to, you know, their health and well being. A lot of times we're ignored. A lot of times we're overlooked. There's a lack of communication when it comes to healthcare providers with their black female patients. There's a lack of preparation. There's a lack of attention to how symptoms show up in black women. And a lot of times we're told, oh no, you're just stressed. No, you're anxious. Girl, you just need to lose some weight. I can't. It's like you said. I'm doing all this stuff. You're telling me, I'm damn near starving myself. And I'm not losing weight. And it's just like, I'm proud of my muffin top right now because I can't do nothing about it just yet anyway. So, you don't fit your clothes the same way, and sitting there thinking to yourself, when did this shrink in the washing machine? No, it's not the washing machine, it's you. And you're not doing anything to bring a lot of these things on. You know what I'm saying? But they're happening because we don't know a lot of what we're dealing with. So, let's be clear. We're talking about these issues that affect every woman living, moving, and breathing at some point in time. But the main thing that we want you to take away from this conversation is that there's nothing wrong, there's nothing weak about what we're experiencing, there's nothing dramatic about the symptoms, and there's nothing wrong with us. This is the natural flow of things, from one point to another. Our hormones are out of balance, but there are things that we can do to correct that. We talked about seeing your PCP. We talked about seeing your OBGYN. And that's another thing. You have to, sit down and write down sometimes what your symptoms are or what your concerns are. And so I just started writing down everything, because I was like, okay, I don't want in my own self to think that anything is too little to mention. So
You have and to touch on that, that is true because oftentimes your lab work will show that you're fine and you're really not in menopause. And sometimes your doctor will say you're fine, but yet you're still having these symptoms. It's real, and the labs don't always show every single thing that you're going through. So you have to be able to explain that this is what's happening. I'm having this XYZ,
Yeah.
ABC. And my doctor, she wanted to know, do you want me to send you to your OBGYN to handle all of this of what you're going through? And I thought about it, and then I thought, well, no, I don't want to go to another doctor again. I just want you to hear me out and treat me accordingly. And that's
Yeah.
what she chose to do.
Yeah.
And I had a list of the symptoms that I was going through.
Yeah.
And it was, she was like, girl, that is it. And it's matching up with your lab. So what you want to do? And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
give me my options, because I'm ready.
Yeah.
I know I said I don't want no medicine, but I do.
Yeah.
And I'll be okay with just taking this one little bitty pill a day, okay, to make me feel alive again. And it's like a switch went on. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I'm back, y'all.
Yeah.
Here I am.
So it's a journey for me.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I've been able to identify and clearly understand where I am and what I'm dealing with mentally, emotionally, physically, now that I've been able to identify and make these symptoms make sense, now it's a part of, what's your plan of action, And so I'm in the plan of action phase. And so we talked about having a conversation with your PCP, getting you a good gynecologist to deal with. I would also say just have a village. So if you have a village, add you a nutritionist to that, a herbalist to that, and just kind of build you a medical team, that you can go to and educate yourself. Get you some vitamins. I'm going to keep everybody in the loop because I decided I'm going to be the poster child for Black Girl Vitamins. So I ordered mine. I ordered the protein. I ordered the collagen. I ordered the mini chill. So I'm excited to start those next week. And, as we go through, we're going to, continue to talk about our journey. And in talking about our journey, we'll share our results. I'm excited to see, what changes, you have in the next 30 days.
I'm going to see the changes in the next week.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
How about that?
So,
I'm not waiting.
how were we with our time? We doing good?
Yeah.
So, what'd you say?
9 minutes.
We got 9 minutes. Isn't it amazing how fast time goes by? When you're talking about something that you can actually relate to, and especially something that's like you living in the midst of, So, what is one thing that in these last few minutes, if you could share with our audience, where you are and on this journey and how you've grown from it? Because even in this journey with it being trying and tumultuous at times, there are some positives that we can take from it. So what are some of your positives as far as where you are right now?
One of the biggest things is, because I have gone through this, I am going through this, I don't always take it personal if someone doesn't say hi to me, or if someone doesn't call me, or if someone doesn't check on me. I used to think, well, why they ain't talking? What's wrong with them? Everybody's dealing with something. And menopause causes you to shut off. It causes you to isolate. It causes you not to want to pick up the phone. It causes you to not want to speak to someone who is coming into the office bubbly, or walking in the grocery store happy and they don't happen to say hello. I understand. I don't take things personal, because I too have been that person. And
I just got to stop you.
I have.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because when I saw you the other day at work and you want to halfway speak to me, I said, oh, she acting funny today.
Well, I didn't want to talk. and I remember that day, and I had to go in there and say a prayer like, okay, Lord, here I am, and I had to read something positive to coach myself, to bring myself, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing that doctor's appointment. I'm about to do that because
Yeah.
I knew, because I know that I'm always the happy one at work,
Yeah.
the one that everybody comes and talks to, the one that wants to come. And I was like, ooh, I'm gonna shut my door.
Yeah.
I don't want to direct people to the hospital today. I don't
Yeah.
want to be that girl. And
Yeah.
I really am that girl. And
Yeah.
so that's really one of the biggest takes that I have taken from this is
Yeah.
that everyone's dealing with something.
Yeah.
And it's not directed at me. It's I'm in a position to understand now, and
Yeah.
and in a position to be able to help, to just they'll be okay tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, tomorrow will be a better day.
Yeah.
That's how I look at life. It's temporary. Things we go through are temporary, but if we don't face them and we don't do something about it, we're gonna continue to be in that same realm of life.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy, but change the way you eat, because if I go in the office and they're making a coffee, I cannot drink hot coffee now. I recognize the things that I cannot have to bring my hot flashes on. So now I get a iced coffee if I feel like I want a coffee, but I'm changing my diet. The spicy foods, those things trigger your hot flashes, and you know, just changing. Don't eat them hot Cheetos. You know, them, I like them hot pork rinds. They give me life,
Yeah.
but they also take my life.
Yeah.
At the exact same time. Those are my favorite snacks.
Yeah.
So I have to change a lot of what I'm eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Alcohol, like wine. Ugh. One sip of wine and you sweating, and it just turns it on. So you
Yeah.
have to sacrifice, either gonna drink that wine and be
And-
hot
and
all
be
night,
hot. Yeah.
or give it up.
Yeah.
So those are
One-
one of the things. Those are the main things that.
That just kind of, I think one thing for me is that I've learned that in this season, that no is not a dirty word. It's okay to say no. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say, you know what? I'm going to pass. I'm not going to do this today. I think I need a little me time. I am falling in love with the word me time. I am falling in love with just being a pinch of taste, selfish, and taking time for me. My daughter is older now. She's a young adult. So a lot of the things that I used to do that were mommy things, I don't have to do anymore. I've got an adult. So I'm finding that I have a lot more time for myself, a lot more time to get to know myself and to meditate and to pray and just to give myself that self-care that I need. And that can be a challenge sometimes when you're so used to pouring into others and doing for others, learning how to do for yourself. So that's where I am in my journey. I'm learning me. I'm learning my likes. I'm learning my dislikes. I'm learning to set boundaries. I'm learning to say, I think I'm going to stay in the house today. And I'm finding that I like to say that quite a lot. I do. I don't think, I might have said I'm going to go someplace and, and then the day come and then I don't make it. And I'm finding that that's okay sometimes, with what I need to be. Now, that's not just saying, you go out here and you make commitments to do things and you just let folk down because you say you don't feel like it. But, there are times when you do need to listen to your body and you do need to say, okay, I need a minute, you know. So, with that being said, my sister friend, I am enjoying the first episode of Sister to Sister Coffee and Conversations. This has been a great episode about menopause conversations. I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation with you in future episodes. We just want to tell you, hey, if you can identify with anything that we're talking about anywhere along the line, click on our website. You can find us on YouTube. You can check us out on Fishbowl Radio Network. You can send us an email. Let us know that you enjoyed the episode. You got something from it. Let us know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear or share with you. We'll see what we can do. Definitely, if you check us out on Fishbowl Radio Network, there is a donate now button. If you enjoyed this first conversation and you're looking forward to hearing more from us, you can definitely make a donation. We'll appreciate it. And how are we on time? It is that time. Again, thank you for tuning in to Sister to Sister, Coffee and Conversations. I'm your host, Mary MJ Harper, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.